Bob Saget passed away yesterday at the age of 65 years old. He was in a hotel room in Orlando. I believe he has been back on the road performing. Now, the reason that I wanted to talk about this, because we talked about Betty White.
Yeah.
And we've talked about other, but we don't really talk about celebrity deaths all that much. To me, it's kind of one of those things. It's like, is that really, other than mentioning it in passing, it can be kind of a drag to talk about. It's good to remember them, give condolences, but in general, I don't know if it's necessarily what we would talk about in something like this, unless it's a pretty influential person. And I do believe that Bob Saget is absolutely that influential of a person.
Yeah.
When you really look at his career.
Have you seen the original TV show Full House?
Yes. That's what I was going to ask you. I say, okay, so have you seen Full House, and have you ever heard of America's Funniest Home Videos? I don't even know. I know that's still around, but it's a different host now, but you've heard of both of them?
I watched a little bit of Full House, and then I watched America's Funniest Home Videos, like, growing up.
Yeah.
So I know about it, but then I was kind of upset when they made Fuller House, because it was kind of like...
He was in it, but not a ton.
No, because they wanted to focus on the daughters, like, them being grown up. And
that actually makes sense. Unless they were all living in the same house, maybe, but they weren't.
They were in the first episode, but then the dad, Bob Saget...
Danny Tanner, that's the name of the character.
Yeah.
Gosh, I went down memory lane when I was
I'm trying to remember all the actors' names. I just pulled up John Stamos and then Dave. Like, they were like, okay, we're gonna go on vacation. You guys take care of our house because we deserve it. And like the daughters were like, okay, we got it. But it was a good concept. The first episode. Okay. After that, it went downhill.
So Bob Saget has been around for, first of all, what a lot of people don't know is he wasn't just an actor, he was a stand-up comedian, and a raunchy stand-up comedian at that. That was that was one of those things that kind of blew everyone's mind because remember, this show was made pre-internet, so you didn't have access to everything that you have access to today.
Yeah.
So like when I was in my teens and then in my 20s, and I found out that Bob Saget was actually a less than politically correct, less than reserved comedian, I was like, wow, the guy who I literally think a lot of people think of him kind of as America's dad. Like he probably ruined a whole generation for parents of having to figure out like how to talk to their kids, because they would always have these heartfelt moments like talking to the kids in the show, and you're like, why can't my parents ever give me advice like that? The real world seldom ever actually lives up to that of like Hollywood Hollywood design. But this article is from TMZ, and the reason I want to talk about it is I was surprised at how long this article was and how many people reached out to him, including some that you wouldn't expect. So it says, multiple sources connected to the iconic comedian and actor, most famous for his starring role as Danny Tanner in Full House, tell us he passed away Sunday at the Ritz-Carlton in Orlando. The sheriff's department and fire department responded to the hotel around 4 p.m. Eastern after hotel security had found Bob in his room. We're told he was pronounced dead on the scene, but the circumstances of his death are still unclear. Bob's been touring the country lately, hitting a lot of destinations throughout the state of Florida, including in Orlando, which he got started in September and was supposed to take him through May. On Saturday night, he was in Jacksonville doing a show at the Ponte Verde Concert Hall, where he actually shouted out to the crowd early in the morning. And it says right here, it says, love tonight's show at the PV Concert Hall in Jacksonville. Appreciate the audience. Thanks again to Real Tim Watkins for opening. I had no idea I did a 2-hour set last night. I'm happily addicted to this shit. Check out bobsaget.com for my dates in 2022. So he seemed really happy. He was like, when somebody loves what they do, that's exactly what they're what they're saying sounds like. Like he was like, he probably hadn't performed a lot since COVID started, and now he's back to performing again. He sounds like he's doing really well, and then this happens, and that's really, really sad. Like, who knows if it was like a heart attack? It could have been.
They still haven't said anything what it is.
There will likely be an autopsy, I'm sure. It says, Saget played the patriarch of the hit ABC sitcom for almost 10 years, landing the lead role in 1987 and finishing out its first iteration in 1995. So this is, just think about that. His most famous stuff was like before you were even a gleam in your parents' eye. Like,
exactly. But the show is so good. That's why, like, I recommend watching Full House instead of Fuller House, because Fuller House was a good concept first episode.
Yep.
But as I said, it went downhill because they tried to do female empowerment. There was a whole episode where they're like, we're she-wolves. And they started howling. And also their kids, all the child actors that they hired are kind of annoying.
Okay, so they're not Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen level
no,
actors.
like the youngest son, who's supposed to be CJ's kid, he's not bad, but he's very annoying. And then like, is it, what's her name? The Judy Sweeten's character?
Oh, I don't know. It's been a long time.
It's Ghibli. Her last name is Ghibli.
Oh, Kimmy Gibbler?
Yeah.
Yes, Kimmy Gibbler. What I was surprised about was, this is what made me want to do this article. Is there's two articles here from two people who are generally not, or from three people that are generally not social media inclined. Pete Davidson reached out and offered his condolences right here, saying that Bob Saget helped him through mental struggles. It says, tributes have been pouring in about Bob Saget and how he touched so many lives, but a few are as poignant as Pete Davidson, who says Bob stepped up for him during some pretty dark times. Pete does not hop on social media, period, but he made an exception for Bob, whom he called as one of the nicest men on the planet. Pete wrote, quote, when I was younger and several times throughout our friendship, he helped me get through some really tough mental stuff. But it wasn't just, hey, how you doing? It wasn't just a hey, how you doing call. Pete says Bob was genuinely concerned and wanted to help. He stayed on the phone with my mom for hours trying to help me in any way he can, connecting us with doctors and new things we can try. He would check in on me and make sure I was okay. That's awesome.
Yeah, I didn't even know he knew Pete Davidson.
It made me think of a more versatile Mr. Rogers, like in a way, like the way like when Mr. Rogers, like when Fred Rogers passed away, nobody had a negative thing to say about him. In fact, I lived in terror of the idea of like Mr. Rogers getting some type of claim against him. I'm like, please don't let that be true.
No, but I love Black Dynamite's portrayal of Mr. Rogers.
In what?
Black Dynamite. The cartoon series.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
Oh my god, it's so good. Like they have jokes about Michael Jackson, Mr. Rogers. So secretly Mr. Rogers, like he wants to take care of the kids, but all the TV show directives and like producers, like anybody who's like a big name, they're like, no, we have to franchise it. Who cares about them kids?
That's pretty poetic.
Yeah, but you know what he did?
What's he do?
He got the piano wire. You know that wire that it's iconic for strangling people. He got it.
Garrote.
Yeah.
That's what you call it's got the things on either end. Yeah, it's a garrote.
He got it.
I've watched mob movies.
He got it and like he choked out one of them and like cut off their head, and then he started beating the rest of them until like there was blood under the door.
This is our generation, ladies and gentlemen. This is why we're all so screwed up because of this.
Sorry, but the Michael Jackson one was funnier because they said Michael Jackson was actually like he was born with that the white Michael Jackson face, but he was an alien, and his parents who adopted him said, no honey, we're gonna make you black so you look more appealing.
That's awesome. I've never seen that one, so
it's so funny. You can find it on Adult Swim.
We'll be talking about that later this week. We got stuff to talk about that.
Yeah.
Pete ended this way. It says, quote, I love you, Bob. It was an honor to know you. Thank you for your kindness and friendship. My condolences to your family. And then the reason why I wanted to mention these two things specifically is he obviously isn't on social media that much, which is funny given that he's like famous, that he's social media famous because of his relationships. But then also Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen made rare public statement in tribute to Bob Saget after his death. The Olsen twins are notoriously kind of
aloof.
Is that the word for that?
Well,
interesting.
Well, I would say aloof because they're not really on the internet.
Yeah, they're kind of they're Howard Hughes-esque. They kind of keep to themselves. It says the Olsen twins honored their TV dad. The television. It says Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen make rare public statement in tribute to Bob Saget after his death. The television and comedy worlds, as well as Hollywood as a whole, lost a true legend this past weekend. Bob Saget, the actor and comedian, best known for the role of Danny Tanner on the comedies Full House and Fuller House, died at the age of 65. Since the news of his passing was confirmed, countless tributes have been pouring in from celebrities and fans. The stars seem to have a particularly profound impact on those who are privileged to work with him over the years. Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen among those who were fortunate enough to have worked alongside him. With this, the reclusive former child stars and current fashion moguls marked Saget's passing with a rare public statement. For eight seasons, Bob Saget played the TV dad to Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen's Michelle Tanner. Viewers watched every week as the actors played out comedic shenanigans and tender heart-to-hearts on their ABC sitcom. See, that was the thing, is the heart-to-hearts at the end that made every kid my age like, why can't warm, cuddly music come down and play when I'm getting lectured by my parents? Never happened. This makes me very sad.
Brett lives in a world where he thinks music comes out.
It should just come out of nowhere when you're getting lectured by your parents to make the moment more dramatic and meaningful.
Okay.
Through their work together, the twins came to care for and respect their on-screen papa. Their statement was shared with Today, sweetly summing up their feelings for the late star. Quote, Bob was the most loving, compassionate, and generous man. We are deeply saddened that he is no longer with us, but know that he will continue to be by our side and guide us as gracefully as he always has. Mm-hmm. We are thinking of his daughters, wife, and family, and are sending our condolences. Like, that's a pretty boilerplate statement, but just for them to come out and say anything at all must mean that he meant a lot to them.
Well, yeah, like basically
87 to 95, so almost 10 years. I mean, imagine, me and you work and do this for 10 years and something happened to me. Like, she's like, I'm so glad he's finally gone. Thank goodness.
No, I'd be sad.
But
I'm joking.
Thank you for that. Mm-hmm. So it's just one of those things. I was surprised by how many, because he's kind of also kind of Hollywood. He's more of a comedian now. Like, he's more known for stand-up comedy, back to being stand-up comedy than acting, right?
Yeah.
So one of the things I found was funny was both Saturday Night Live, both Full House and America's Funniest Home Videos, he did them for almost the same amount of episodes. 193 episodes of one and 192 episodes of the other.
Dude, he's dedicated.
Yep, that's a lot of work, and I think a lot of that went on during the same time.
Mm-hmm. Also, I didn't know that he was the narrator of How I Met Your Mother. Mm-hmm. I thought it was the guy that played Ted Mosby.
Oh.
I thought it was because, like, you know how it's like through his point of view and like he's telling the story to his kids, and one of the actors played in Wizard of Waverly Place, and I love that show.
Of course you
I love that show, and every time I see his face I'm like, oh my god, he's that kid.
He's the kid.
Yeah, but I didn't know he was a narrator, so I kind of did grow up with him.
Yep, you did. In a way that just shows you, like, I look at that old America's Funniest Home Video set with the big lens from the camera and the bubble letters. It's just really crazy to me. I know that there were so many tweets from various celebrities talking about how much he meant to them. And it's just crazy because I didn't really think of any celebrities after Betty White. We also lost Norm Macdonald this past year. That was like in late November, I believe. November or December, one of the two.
Yeah, but I love how the news, when we got Betty White news, we're telling each other like in person at the New Year's Eve party. But then Bob Saget, we sent it in a group chat.
I heard you guys talking about it from upstairs. I was in my office working, and I heard you guys. That was another reason why I wanted to do this. Because you knew who he was when they mentioned it, and I was like, if Miracle, who is so much younger, knows who this guy is in more than just a passing fashion, then maybe this is worth covering. So, I would say R.I.P. Hopefully, he's in a better place, whatever your religious or personal beliefs are. But he had you can't deny
the golden Homer Buddha.
There you go.
I'm joking, but I do have a sticker.
You can't deny the cultural impact that this guy clearly had on American culture. Given that, like I said, I wanted to be lectured. I wanted my parents to lecture me the way Danny Tanner lectured his kids in Full House.
Yeah, for sure.
So
I don't know.
What was the name of the show? It was How I Met Your Mother that he was narrating on? Okay.
Yeah, basically, I thought it was Ted Mosby.
For a lot of episodes?
Yeah, they said so if you go back to TMZ and scroll down, it says right here, I quote from, nope, not that one. So Bob's other notable acting credits include the reoccurring role on Entourage, in which he played a zany version of himself, the narrator voice of How I Met Your Mother, and another sitcom and then another sitcom, sorry, there was a comma and I thought it was a period. I got it. Don't worry.
There you go.
No, I got it.
Okay.
I dropped a pen if you guys heard that. Another sitcom he starred in called Raising Dad, one of the penguins in Fast of the Penguins. So basically, he played a lot of things, and he was also in Half Baked.
Yep. It says like cocaine addict or something like that. Yeah. It's he was also, what was the other thing I was thinking of? He was in.
He had his own podcast series.
Oh, he did an episode of Norm Macdonald's show Norm back in the early 2000s. I think they were friends.
Do you think they?
I don't know if they were close friends or not, but comedian, they both worked the comedy circuit, so I'm guessing that they knew one another. But it is interesting. I was watching an episode of White Collar not that long ago. This is another reason this is funny. There's a scene where the character of Mozzie is talking to. It's hard to explain. His best friend Neil, who's the lead character of the show, and then he was raised by a guardian who took care of him. And Mozzie's asking the guardian, who comes up in the later seasons, like, I want to know stories about him when he was a kid, about what Neil was like when he was a kid. And she goes, I'm not telling. He was an interesting person though. He goes, so was Bob Saget.
Oh.
He goes, so is Bob Saget. That tells me nothing. So he's kind of like a cultural touchstone in a way.
Wait, what was the show called again?
White Collar.
I don't remember that.
It ran from 2009.
No, that episode that you're talking about.
Do you remember the show? Do you remember when it would have been season 3 when or the beginning of season 4, like his dad disappears and like he's got or he's like looking for his cop partner, his dad's cop partner, and they're looking for a box in the Empire State Building. There's a character in there that was like when Neil went into witness protection when he was a kid, his mom went with him, and then his dad's old partner, which was a woman played by Sprague Graydon in the early episodes, and then in the later episodes obviously played by a much older woman. That character is talking to Mozzie on like the balcony of the of Neil's home. That show is really good. But
it is.
It's just a weird show to have like a random Bob Saget reference on. So it's like, it just shows he's a cultural touchstone. He meant a lot to a lot of people. He's obviously very had a place in the cultural zeitgeist. So we should go back and watch episodes of America's Funniest Home Videos.
We should.
That would be.
It was funny. Now it's hosted by Carlton. What's the actor's name?
Carlton?
The guy that plays Carlton from Fresh Prince.
Oh, I don't know the actor. Is it?
It's hosted by him.
It had the other guy for a while, the white-haired guy, and now Carlton. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's Carlton now, so it's funny now.
Yeah,
it's funnier now.
It's not the same anymore. It took so much more work to make that stuff back in the day because you had to get the big video camera, and it just wasn't easy. So it's so much easier to just capture stuff on your phone now. It feels like it takes half the work.
Well, yeah, like.
It is what it is.
It is
what it is. Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.
Bye.